7 alpacas, 3 fucking dogs, and a cat, and you want to put another dog on top of that, and you're going to have a kid. Are you joking? Around the surrogate. This could have been such an educational process. He's in his like mid to late 30s. How are you this old and thinking that the genetics will take more hold than the people they are literally being raised by? Shane admitted to going through Ryland's phone. Hi guys. So, this is the second time I'm recording this today, so I fucking hope this works. I spent 2 hours commentating on this exact subject to have a break, chill out for a bit, then go to upload all the content and find out there's no audio, and it was really, really slow for some reason. So I hope this fucking works. Today, I'm going to talk about whether Shane Dawson is going to be a good parent. I've been watching a bunch of Fat Sajak content. She does a lot of commentary around Ryland Adams vlogs and of course Shane Dawson videos as well. I always get inspired when I watch her. I had been noticing behavioural things over the past, probably year. So I wanted to go back through a bunch of Ryland's videos, but I'm not going to lie, I struggled. Every time I went to go do proper research and watch like the whole of the last year's worth of vlogs, I just couldn't do it. It was so painfully fucking boring. I couldn't get through them. I got through maybe like 2 videos and I was just like, I can't do this. So instead I binged something a lot more enjoyable, which was 6 hours of Fat Sajak content, and I do not regret it because it was much more entertaining. I was able to get through it much faster. It was much more enjoyable to actually spend 6 hours of my life doing. So here's to Fat Sajak, the sacrifice that she makes for that entertainment. Seriously. So today I'm going to go through, like I say, a bunch of behavioural things that I've noticed over the past 8 months of watching her videos, where Shane is, I would say, at the moment at least, possibly not the best parental example, at least. So let's get into it. Oh, hello. You got shaved arms today, haven't you? You might be able to see that he's got shaved arms at the moment. Had to have a dental op. He's fine, thankfully. The first thing I want to get into is around actually his last video, around the whole generic brand versus name brand. The reason I'm bringing this up again is because I'm seeing this in a different way, at least the second side to this whole generic versus name brand issue, is because the fact that Shane was putting this as a scam.
Why the fuck have I been buying these? You know what I mean? Am I the only one angry about this? I'm pissed.
This is so fucked up on such a deep level. Like,
oh, it should be illegal.
When it wasn't. This was a version of the same food which is cheaper because it doesn't have any of the advertising to get that name out there so it's recognisable, so that it's available for people that don't have, say for example £3.50 to pay on a box of cereal that's exactly the same as the name brand stuff for £1. It seemed quite out of touch. I mean, that whole video was out of touch, I know. But the fact that him and Ryland are on their way to becoming parents and he couldn't see that maybe this was for people who are of a lower income or have less disposable income to spend on food, unfortunately, and this is different options for them, not that companies are trying to scam people. It came off incredibly tone deaf because the amount of families that, and wasn't he he was a poor kid at some point when, he was growing up. So I don't understand how he didn't identify that some families can't spend ridiculous amounts. And this also goes for not just food, but clothes. Like, I remember there's a comedian he was looking around in London and he saw this lovely coat that could be for his daughter, who was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old or something. And he went in, didn't even bother looking at the price, picked one up, took it to the counter.
I didn't even say the price out loud. Even she was ashamed. I looked down at the machine. For a second I thought it said 150 quid and I thought, guys, £1,500 for a children's coat.
He immediately was like, no, you're fine. Justified to people that I would never spend on a coat for my child, even though I want the best for her, because she's going to grow out of it in like a year or two's time. And I don't understand how someone who's going to be a parent soon couldn't see the reasoning behind things like an affordable place or food that's affordable, rather than, it's just, I was rewatching that whilst getting ready and realised, like, there are so many families out there that need those alternatives. But Shane thought that was a scam. I don't know, it's just something that, considering, like I say, he's on his way to becoming a parent, it seemed almost to shame other people who don't buy name brands. Which, speaking of shaming, he also, in, like, the Let's Talk video, which was just a second video of the same conspiracy, he was shaming mums of Girl Scouts.
The attitude those serve you, like, is not worth it. Kidding. Support the Girl Scouts. The moms are That's a side note. What was I talking about?
Which, by the way, totally want to try Girl Scout cookies at some point. If they have in the UK Aldi, like the dupe ones, I'm 100% going to try those.
These little babies are $5 a box, but you can only get them during Girl Scout season. Unless you go to Aldi and you get these bad boys all year round for $1.50.
Because they've always sounded so good. But, like, can we not shame parents? Parents have such a hard time. Shane shaming the parent was, I don't know, it came so out of left field. I don't understand the point of it. Alright, so the first category I want to talk about is Shane's behaviour possibly being a bad example for a child. So, I mean, we don't even need to talk about the whole blackface, N-word, inappropriate sexualisation of children, jokingly, on podcasts and in videos and stuff. Literally don't even need to go in that because I'm sure you're already aware of it. But one thing I will say around that topic is the fact that when Shane was leaving the beauty community, as he liked to say in his huge essay, I mean, afterwards he was apparently too sensitive to deal with all the feedback he was being given, has taken no accountability for the fact that people were still upset and hurt because of what he did. And rather than take responsibility for that, he consistently now makes light of his cancellation.
I learned piano during my break. Kidding, I didn't learn anything. No, I learned a lot about myself. Oof.
And people trying to make him accountable for his previous actions. To me, I don't think that's a good example to set for a child, that if you hurt people, whether physically or emotionally, you can't just say I'm sorry and expect the slate to be cleaned. You have to earn that, and you have to show that you are a better person because you understand that you hurt that person. You can't just say I'm sorry and expect that it's going to make everything better. Okay, so I know this is like a small thing, but Ryan does a lot of testing like Starbucks drinks and food and stuff like that. Shane on and off says that he has misophonia, which is like the other thing about people eating and drinking. It's like triggering for you. It's like nails on a chalkboard, basically. Although that seems to come and go, which is really weird. But I feel like his misophonia, like if it is real, either way, it could end up causing their child a complex because their father, or one of their fathers, is consistently triggered by their child's eating. And I'm not being funny, but there's so many things that you have to basically get over when you have a kid. Like, this is from someone who, I don't have kids, I have a lot of animals, I've had a lot of animals, I don't have kids, don't want kids, so yeah, who the fuck am I to judge? I get it. But it's just things that I would be personally aware of. You can't be telling your child chew quieter or your chewing or slurping is so annoying because you end up just causing resentment in your child. It wouldn't be a nice relationship, that's all I'm thinking. Trailing on from that, around Shane's consistent body consciousness, and not just of him, but he was shaming Ryland for saying that he wanted to get into better shape because he'd lost all his abs from when they started dating.
I'm also on a mission to like get rid of a little bit of belly fat that I've accumulated.
Literally, everybody watching right now just said shut the fuck up.
I want to get a six-pack back. We were looking back, and I used to be like cut down there, and now it's just like I'm getting a dad bod, which is fine, but
Imagine being this skinny and even doing that.
That's not a bad thing, but Shane shamed him in saying that how dare he basically think that he would gained weight from someone who is consistently talking shit about himself the last 5 years. And like, again, if he does still, I don't watch him enough to really know, but if he does still consistently talk about his or his partner's body in that kind of way, that could end up causing some sort of body dysmorphia to your child. Because your child's going to think they're overweight or they're not the right size, for example, or whatever, because you're portraying that yourself. Around him talking about Ryland, his disrespect in what I portray as disrespect anyway, to Ryland, where he consistently makes Ryland the butt of the joke.
And thank you to Ryland for
Here he goes.
No, thank you to Ryland for being the asshole. I feel like it's fun.
What if she doesn't get your, assholeness. Like, what if she doesn't get our
He used to flirt with Chris all the time on their podcast.
Chris, you always outshine us. What are you dressed as right now? You look so cool. Is that a knife?
It looks like a knife, but it is in fact a comb.
Wow. Why am I turned on when you flip the knife
Shane.
out? What? Get a knife. Keep me interested.
I just noticed that he was constantly picking on, basically, Ryland in all these videos. And it's not a nice dynamic to raise a child in. It's not a nice dynamic to be in a relationship, personally, I think, when your partner, who apparently loves you more than anything, is, you know, making you the butt of every fucking joke. 100% not. But bring a child into that is so much worse. They're frivolous spending, so they spend money here, there, and everywhere constantly. To the point they have 2 fucking homes.
Okay, guess what we're doing?
Going house shopping? What are you talking about?
No, we're going to McDonald's.
What?
What? Why are you shopping for houses? You already have 2 houses!
Full of shit. And they were going to buy another home for Ryland's family just so they could get the 7 alpacas.
Is walking distance from my house. I pass it every day on my dog walk, and I think my parents should be my neighbors. And I have decided we're trying to convince my parents to move into the house that is a few doors down from ours.
Okay, you're making us sound crazy.
The priorities are ridiculous on these 2. But obviously they pay for people to probably clean the homes, care for the animals, because they fly in between these places constantly. And they buy shit all the time. They buy a lot of junk. There was a video decluttering a bunch of their stuff.
This is out of control. Just
Okay, that's a lot of...
get these. Never ends. Like, knickknacks never end. Consoles are just filled with shit. We're maxed out. All the way maxed out. 2 more trash cans. There's boxes, 3 bags of clothes. I have some electronics and stuff that we've never even opened that are going as well.
It was just, there was clutter everywhere. Now, don't get me wrong, my flat is not fucking... Their place is way tidier than mine. Mine looks lived in. It doesn't look like it's out of a magazine, but I don't want my place to look like that. I want people to feel comfortable when they come in here. I want myself to feel comfortable when I come in here. My point is that they're not going to have the freedom to be frivolously spending. I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got millions, so they probably would. But there are other things that are more important, like putting money away for your kids' college. And I know it's probably like only a couple of hundred here and whatever, I get it. The thing that I think could set a bad example is that, firstly, when you literally buy whatever you want, whenever you want it, you don't appreciate what you have. And don't get me wrong, I've been in exactly the same spot. The excitement of purchasing is more exciting than the things you purchased. I feel like that's almost where they're at sometimes. But hopefully when the kid comes in, they'll, you know, it'll be a bit different. It does seem that they are very, in certain ways, very materialistic. Like, they want to have, you know, the most expensive slides.
Not for me. Oh my god. Oh my god. These, my slides. Okay. These are leopard Balenciaga slides, which, you know, I'm not a big brand girl. I don't really care. But these are so
and clothes and stuff, and then he always says that he's, you know, he's not flaunting his wealth, but he does always have like Balenciaga this and Gucci that. More power to you. I just want to highlight that if they do the same with their kid then won't appreciate the things they're buying, because they'll see that as the standard and not, you know, you earned this. Like, for example, if they did an incredible job at their end of year finals or something, and you take them for a, you know, splash out on something for them, it's more special than just having, you know, Balenciaga and Gucci whenever the fuck they want it. This might just be me as like maybe I'm a total square, but the consistent sexualization of things. Shayna was talking about penises or buttholes or...
It just reminds me of my favorite part of the day, right after I shit. Just light that match, blow it out, throw it in the toilet, flush my ear. Let me get some of this. Oh my god. What is this?
Better than sex.
It's been so long, I wouldn't know.
Oh my gosh, only because we have a dog, a puppy that doesn't let us do anything.
I'm gonna put 2 of these in at once. Watch me. And
He was cutting a birthday cake and making some very sexual innuendo-y sort of noises and jokes.
ooh, she thick and she glides.
Oh, I'm gonna have to get a better angle of that pull-out.
Me. When we start your OnlyFans.
I just think that that could be seen as inappropriate, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a square. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. This point is actually from when Ryland and Shane got married. They got legally married. They signed all the documentation, and Shane admitted to going through Ryland's phone and he saw his name and just kept reading.
Research the other night for my speech, or my vows, and you had your old phone, so I was looking through it, looking for old pictures for my Snapchat, but also for like our wedding slideshow. And then I found in your notes app...
Invaded my privacy to the 5,000th degree.
No. Here's what happened. I searched my name on your phone. I was searching my name because I was trying to find our first text to each other. Long story, boring. Couldn't find it. But a note came up that had my name in it. And I like was reading it, and it was like you thinking of what to give me for Christmas like 5 years ago. It was really cute. And then I just kept going looking through the notes because I kept seeing like cute things, and it was definitely invading your space.
And it was complete invasion of privacy. And again, I just feel like that's such a bad example to be creating for your child that, look, I hope they don't do that. But imagine if Shane invades his kid's privacy because he feels like, oh, well, I saw my name, so I was just going to read your diary. I just carried on reading. It doesn't matter if you're interested, it's still invading someone's privacy. The last thing on their behavioural thing, and this is just a small thing, but it drives me insane, the amount of times they say, that's crazy.
All fucking crazy. It's all lies. You know, isn't it crazy? It's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy. It's crazy. This is so crazy to me. Isn't that crazy? Is this only crazy to me?
When, firstly, it's not crazy. I'm sure that crazy, sickening, or vibe, because they say that's a vibe all the time. I'm sure that's going to be their kid's first word. One of those three. Okay, so the next thing is around caring for the child. So a lot of this is around how they care for their animals and care for their home at the moment, the split sort of responsibilities and stuff like that. The first thing is around the alpacas. So I mentioned that they were going to buy a house to get these alpacas. It turns out that people that were going to buy the house didn't want the alpacas, so they ended up rehoming them anyway. Ryland's clearing out this whole barn sort of situation or shed or whatever to make space for them, and I think his dad ends up helping
to the back area of the barn where there's more stalls. So here's like stall 1, stall number 2 where alpacas will live. So this is one of the spaces that I need to clear out because obviously we're not going to have them live amongst the debris.
But Shane does not help, like at all. But that's 7 animals that they're taking responsibility for. And don't get me wrong, I love animals, but like 7 alpacas, they've already got 3 dogs. They've got a cat and they're about to have a fucking kid. Can we recognise that that is 12 lives that they're now going to be responsible for, at least, considering they also talking about having multiple births, but I'll get into that in a minute. But that's 12 lives that they're responsible for, and Shane was not taking, at least from those videos, much care or responsibility for them. So I can't see how Shane is going to be helping Ryland. Ryland, I think, is going to be a really good parent. But for Shane, I feel like this is the superficial. Like I say, he's more excited about the thing happening than getting the actual thing in his life. The idea of the alpacas was more exciting, I feel like, to Shane than actually owning the alpacas. And that's worrying. And actually, speaking of that exact video, there was, while they were, somewhere, there was a rehoming thing for shepherd puppies.
Okay, hear me out.
He's a monster. No,
It's a shepherd puppy, which means they're shepherds, and we need it for the alpacas because it'll help shepherd them into the corral. And we don't have a black dog yet. That is so cute.
We are not getting another dog. I think 7 alpacas and a cat with 3 dogs is plenty.
Like, he's collecting different shades of dogs. And it's just like, that is the wrong reason to get another animal. Again, 7 alpacas, 3 fucking dogs, and a cat, and you want to put another dog on top of that, and you're going to have a kid. Are you joking? You already do not help with the dogs, because there has been a video, which I've spoken about before, but it still actually infuriates me, I'm not gonna lie. Shane openly said that he was working all night and he was gonna go to bed at like really early in the morning. Does not help with the morning routine at all.
Shane woke up for the first time like really early. He's been up all morning. It's only 8:30 right now, and he's on in bed scrolling, and the dogs are all doing what they do at 8 a.m., which is like stepping on me, begging me to get up, trying to go play. And I thought, oh, Shane's up, so he can help me with the morning routine with 4 animals. And I'm like, come on, Shane, let's go do the morning routine. And guess what? He conveniently walks downstairs 30 minutes later after everything is over. You didn't even get the matcha I went to the store and got you? It's unsweetened and everything.
The problem is when you wake up, which is, unreasonably early, like 9 o'clock.
No, 8.
Oh! Oh! He gets up at 8 and then he goes to the store and he brings me back a matcha drink, which is very, very sweet. I love you so much. But by the time I wake up at, a reasonable 1:30, 2 p.m., it's already melted and I can't even drink it.
To, let the dogs out, make sure they have a run, make sure they have food, make sure the cat has food, clean its litter tray, make sure the alpacas are okay, although they live in a different state. But either way, he's not showing any responsibility for these lives as it is. He said that he was babysitting for the puppy while Ryland was out. He said he was babysitting. It's not babysitting when it's yours. That's something Fat Sajak mentioned. Like, when you're a parent, it's not called babysitting, it's called parenting. And speaking of their animals, actually, they haven't trained any of these animals. There was a clip of a video where one of the dogs was on the table playing with the cat. They haven't set no boundaries for these animals whatsoever. And you can tell that because they got a kitten a little while ago and it died. I don't know the whole story, but all I know is they let the dogs near it and it died. Clearly, neither of them have trained these dogs and set proper boundaries. And they have time. Dogs can be trained at any fucking age. Train them now. It is so important when you bring a baby back to your home and you're allowing animals to just do whatever the fuck they want. That's how children get hurt. Don't get me wrong, I love animals, adore them, but you have to be responsible. And speaking of him sleeping like 5 a.m, how is he going to help with the sleep schedule? Children need, and animals need as well, children need set schedules. Like, they go to bed at certain times, they nap at certain times. How is Shane going to help with any of that? Because he goes to sleep whenever the fuck he wants, and he seems to be prioritising his work over assisting his partner to care for the lives that are their responsibility. So what in the fuck is he going to do when they get a kid? If he's already not doing that with the animals that are less effort, it doesn't have to be constant, but with a baby, it is constant. So how is he going to cope? Oh, right, he probably isn't. He's going to put that all on Ryland. The last thing I want to talk about is around the surrogate and how this could have been so much more educational. If you don't know, they're in the process of paying someone to be a surrogate for their baby with one Ryland or Shane's sperm with one of the surrogate's eggs. This could have been such an educational process. Half of the stuff that they're talking about, they are so uneducated on. It's painful. The first thing is around Shane thinking that the child will grow up to be like the surrogate, not the people it's being raised by, because it's the surrogate's egg.
I'm the one that was nervous, and I told you, I was like, are you not nervous? And you were like, no, why? And I'm like, because we're not only about to meet the mother of our child, we're going to meet who our child is probably going to grow up to be like. What if she doesn't get my jokes? Like, what if she doesn't get your, assholeness? Like, what if she doesn't get our dynamic?
How is he's in his mid to late 30s. How are you this old and thinking that the genetics will take more hold than the people they are literally being raised by? That surrogate is not going to be involved in the child's life. They think it is. I don't know how, because if you're a surrogate, you don't normally have anything to do with the child when birthed. That's kind of that's on you. You get paid and that's it as far as I'm aware. That really confused me. They were also mentioning about, again, this is just something educational that I found out from Fat AJ, around that they may end up including the child in vlogs once it's born, which I think it's a bad idea. I don't agree with family vloggers whatsoever. I think it's damaging to the children. I think that it's not fair because their life, it invades their privacy. And if it was just something cute where, you're going to a public park or you're going to do some fun family activity outside, that's fine. But the amount of family vloggers that film their children in their homes, invading their personal space and privacy constantly is really gross to me. In that regard, I fucking hate it. And they were mentioning that they may put emojis over the kid's face.
I don't want to show our baby on camera, which is also weird because we're showing this process and then we're just gonna be like, never mind.
I think there's ways that you could go about it,
emoji.
I didn't know this. Emojis can be removed, photos and videos. So if you're a parent and you're trying to protect your children with that, please be aware that doesn't do shit. That if a predator wants to remove that, they will. Do some more investigating on how to properly protect your children before you post something like that. So I hope they find that out before. Around this conversation as well, Shane mentions that he thinks Ryland isn't taking it seriously.
I feel like you're more excited about it. It's a weird. Are you more excited about the alpacas or the baby?
Well, the alpacas are in front of us.
This is the thing about you that is scary to me. I feel like reality doesn't hit you until it's right in your face. I see everything before it happens and I'm like, oh my God, this is exciting. We're gonna have a baby. We're meeting the mom. It's all that's happening. And I don't think you get it yet until the baby's gonna be popped out.
No, until we're pregnant, I think is when it will hit me with the child. But right now, there's been, like, the bumps really, like, take a toll on me, which I know, like, you know, we're so blessed to be able to go on this journey, but it's not like a straight path for anyone. So it's just, I think the process is like what deters me from like being super excited about the small wins in this baby journey.
I wasn't listening.
He criticizes him, and Ryland mentions that, you know, he'll be more excited about it once the surrogate's actually pregnant. At the moment, it's just they're talking about embryos and implanting and all this sort of stuff. They're not actually at the point of the person being pregnant yet. He's not going to jump the gun, basically, which is incredibly mature. Shane is older than Ryland by at least like 5-6 years, and he's being incredibly obtuse and immature about this. Do you know how many complications there can be with any pregnancy? This is one of the reasons why people don't say, oh, we're pregnant, until like 3 months down the line, because so many people can like lose their baby within that first 3 months. There can be so many complications. And then you add on to the fact that she isn't even actually pregnant yet. They are literally just implanting the embryos and the sperm, like, at that point, and seeing if they're viable before they even put them into her womb. So it's not a bad thing that Ryland is being cautious about getting too ahead of himself, because it's so easy to get hurt. That's why I'm saying that I don't think that Ryland is cold in any way around this. I think he's just being a realist. He's waiting until the person is pregnant, that everything is okayed by the doctor before getting ahead of himself. I think that's a perfect example of a good parent. Like, he's already being a good parent before the person's even pregnant. Whereas Shane sees this as almost a materialistic item. This is just around Shane's, like, not even physical health, but like, Shane doesn't shower every day. He used to, I don't know if he still does this, but he used to pee in a bottle and leave it by his bed.
Well, what's in that bottle right there?
It seems like maybe you might have pissed into it because you were too lazy to get and go to the actual bathroom. Shane, is that piss?
No.
Shane, is that piss?
He wears the same t-shirt for multiple days. So I do wonder, like, well, first of all, he didn't bother to shower or brush his hair or change his shirt or anything like that when he met the surrogate of his baby for the first time. I mean, that's like a job interview. Are you wanting it to go bad? Can we talk about the fact that if he cares that little about cleaning himself, washing himself, making sure he changes his clothes, then how is he going to look after another life? Because babies especially, you need to bathe them every day. You need to make sure you change their diaper like multiple times a day. You need to make sure that you're caring for them.
Having a puppy has been very interesting. It's been, what, 5 years since we had Uno and Honey as children, and let me tell you, you forget how much of a 24/7 around-the-clock job it is, which I guess Shane keeps saying, like, it's good preparation for a child.
Shane can't even care for himself. Shane's been open about this for years. This isn't something new that's just like come about because of his cancellation or something. Is it going to fall to Ryland constantly to make sure the baby is clean and cared for because Shane doesn't see that as a priority, at least for himself? I don't know. They're saying about involving the birth mother in videos and in the child's life.
Our relationship is going to develop and evolve, and I'm sure she's going to be one of the closest people in our lives for a long time because we're going to be texting her every day.
She also did say she was okay being in the vlogs. Which, listen, here's the thing, because we also don't, we need to talk about this again, but I don't want to show our baby on camera, which is also weird because we're showing this process and then we're just going to be like, never mind.
I think there's ways that you could go about it, like
emojis.
Like I say, a child's life feels wrong to me. I feel like a surrogate shouldn't be involved in that, but I've never gone through that process. Maybe I'm wrong. To me, surrogates are like an incubator. They're involved in the process of having the baby, but not in caring for the baby once it's born. That's the parent's responsibility. The surrogate isn't a parent. But maybe people have open adoptions with stuff like that. I don't know. I know that happens with people who adopt from someone who doesn't want the child. Some people have open adoptions. Some people have closed adoptions. I cannot say that word because I learned that from Juno. But for surrogacy, it seems pretty cut and dry to me, but maybe I'm wrong. Again, like the science thing that they didn't understand that embryos weren't eggs. Shane kept saying, oh, we have like 12 children on the way.
I have 12 kids on the way. I don't want to talk about it. I do want to talk about it. I have 12 kids on the way. That sounds, I mean, I have 12 kids cooking. Or no, not, I have 12 potential kids that I could cook. That's worse.
And what it was they had 12 possible eggs that could be impregnated to get the person pregnant, like basically 12 chances. If you've seen Friends, where Phoebe is a surrogate for her brother and his wife, which I'm going to do a whole Friends video at some point, breaking down the weirdness of some of these things. But like in that situation, they said they only had money to do this once, and therefore they wanted to put as many embryos into Phoebe as possible to get the most chances as possible, because the chance, at least at that point, was only like 17% or something really, really small of getting pregnant.
It'll take just a little while to prepare the embryos.
Embryos? As in more than one?
5, actually.
5? Okay, where am I giving birth? In a hospital or a big box under the stairs?
You do 5 because that gives you a 25% chance that at least one will attach.
That's it? 25%? That means that it's like 75% chance of no baby at all?
Yeah, you know, I was thinking, what are the odds, like, if like, you stuff, like, 200 of them in there?
Sweetie, now, she's a woman, not a gumball machine.
And then Phoebe ended up having 3 because she ended up having triplets. But that's why they have so many embryos as possibilities, because not every single one of them is going to take.
19 eggs retrieved. Of those, 11 became embryos. Those were sent off for testing, and now we have the test results for the 11 embryos that were frozen. So I think this means we'll see like how many of the 11 could potentially go to pregnancy.
Them not understanding that was really weird to me, especially as Shane has said like Phoebe was his favourite character video once before because she's like the weird one or whatever. So he should know this. If he's seen Friends, he should know this. And also just use Google. And speaking of their multiple embryos, they were talking about like they wanted 1 embryo of Ryland's and 1 embryo for Shane's sperm. But they hadn't even considered the fact that that's going to put more stress and strain onto the surrogate, and they hadn't even considered that.
2 weeks
Old.
Wait a minute. Does that mean we have 12 2-week-old babies frozen somewhere?
Yeah.
Just stuck there waiting? Like, hello? Can I get an exit? Like,
And is
hold
it
on.
wrong of us to not bring all those 12 humans to life?
Let's put them all in, baby. That's okay.
It's also part of her choice whether she wants to birth 2 and not just 1. And speaking of stress and strain, like I forgot to mention, Shane is consistently putting a lot of pressure. I don't know if he's openly saying this to the surrogate, but at least in videos, and if she sees the videos, that is definitely a lot of pressure where he says that, oh, this will definitely take on the first one. I've got good feelings about it.
You didn't say the biggest part.
What?
The due date.
Oh, I mean...
I'm manifesting. It's a real due date because the embryo that they put in the surrogate is already 2 weeks cooked. So 2 weeks when we put the embryo in. On April 18th is the day. That's the day she's getting pregnant, that we're manifesting, because sometimes it works on the first round, which is what it's going to happen, because that's what I think God and the universe is going to do. Faith. And 9 months from then, the due date would be...
Well, minus the 2 weeks would be January 4th.
Which... Wait a minute. Is that our wedding anniversary? No, it's not.
January 3rd.
Can you not put like such high expectations on a possibility it's not going to go through, it's not going to take? For some surrogates, they have to try multiple times before they get pregnant. What if this doesn't take the first time? Is he going to be incredibly disappointed and maybe not want to go through it a second time? Because maybe it's going to be too triggering for him, that could happen again, and he's going to be so disappointed and so upset. This is why you don't get your hopes up so high that everything's going to go perfect first time. Speaking of the women in their life, so one of the things frustrated me was they went out to like a parental shop where you buy stuff for babies, and they bought a thing of diapers to test if they knew how to put a diaper on a baby doll, for example. Okay, first of all, isn't there a shortage on formula and food and diapers and stuff for people that actually have children? And these people haven't even got someone pregnant yet, and they're buying diapers unnecessarily, like, just so they can put a diaper on a doll. Like, did they really need to do that? And also, did they need to buy like a huge pack? Could they not have bought one of the smaller ones or something? I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. But either way, when they got to Ryland's mum's house or whatever, Ryland turned around. I actually can't believe this came out of Ryland's mouth, but Ryland turned around and said that he wanted the women in his life to teach him and Shane how to put a diaper on a child.
Okay. Shane wanted to practice changing diapers. So.
Yeah, so are you guys going to help us learn how to change diapers?
Yeah, we figure the women in our life should teach us how to change the diaper.
Can we stop pretending that men don't know how to fucking do things? The weaponized incompetency of men is so fucking annoying. Like, can you not read a manual, use Google, or just, you know, do it the hard way and figure it out your fucking self. Everyone else has to. So I'm surprised that they would expect, oh, the mum and the grandma are gonna just teach them how to put on a diaper. Diapers aren't even that difficult to put on. Granted, on a screaming baby, a lot harder. I watched Kathleen try to put one on Jesse's child. They were like swapped lives for a day or whatever.
Just like, go for it.
Okay.
You can do this. I totally believe in you.
Wait a minute, I need to put this under first. I don't know how to do it, Ace becomes.
Really good video. And yeah, that did look difficult, but we're talking about a doll. You shouldn't need explanation on how to do that. Maybe an explanation on what you have to do when you're changing a diaper from diaper to diaper is, you know, you take it off, you put it in the thing, then you clean it, then you moisturize it, then you put a new one on. You know, those kind of things, get it. But they were literally just, oh, how do you put one on? You really need an instruction for that? The last thing, and this is just a small point, but it was kind of, again, it kind of just grated me and just showed the sort of materialistic, superficial stance that Shane has around this baby. They were talking about names, and one of the names I actually really like, which was Parker for a girl. I thought it was a really cute name. Someone said the name Buzz, and Shane just tunnel vision.
Can I just say, I love Jet and Parker, but I'm really going down the Buzz rabbit hole because the idea of a baby with this Buzz costume is so precious, and then his nursery could be Buzz Lightyear themed.
It was just, first of all, your child's not allowed a fucking personality. They're not allowed to choose what they do and don't like. Weird. And I know he didn't mean that, but it was just kind of, he was going to force that onto them. It was just really fucking weird to me. Even Ryland was like, I don't like the idea of choosing a name and then having that basically follow the child for the whole of their life.
I don't really want his whole life to be defined by like, every time he says his name or like meets somebody, they're gonna be like the movie?
Why? That's like the most iconic character ever.
It was so superficial. That is the word. It was so incredibly superficial. That's what Shane is excited about. Shane is excited about the superficial elements of having a child. Ryland is excited to be a dad. And those are the differences. That's what I'm struggling with overseeing all of those videos, is that I don't see Shane being excited to be a parent. I see him excited to have just this new thing, because he was excited to get the alpacas and then isn't involved in the alpacas. He was excited to get a puppy and then, you know, he was babysitting the puppy. He wanted to get, you know, another fucking dog. They literally had only just had a puppy fucking like 3 months earlier or something. It was just, I'm not trying to be really, really mean. It's just this stuff causes families to break apart because one of the parents feels like they're pulling all the weight, that they're the one constantly, you know, looking after the child. Their needs are not being met. There's no shared responsibility. Unfortunately, I can foresee that happening. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope in maybe like a year's time when they do end up having this child, I hope that I'm proved wrong. I hope that it matures Shane and he does what he needs to do, that he helps out, that he takes responsibility, that he shares responsibility. And not just with his child, but all the animals as well, because caring for a child and all these animals at the same time is going to be a hard fucking work. Really hard work. At the moment, I can't foresee that it's going to be evenly shared. And I feel for Ryland. I can just foresee him doing it basically by himself. And that's sad. He has a partner he's been with for like 7 years. I hope I'm proved wrong. I really do. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give us a like and subscribe. I feel like I'd really appreciate it. Please actually leave us a like. I've had to film this twice. And now I've got to go through editing. Well, I don't know how many hours. So, yeah, please give this a like. Please. If you enjoyed it, like, I'd really appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.